that's sort of what happened last night in Stickam. That snarf bitch, who I really can't stand, she discussed the white-only subject.
Actually, that's not true, Gary. I have never discussed the white-only subject with you. I've never given you the value of my opinion or offered you any of my own personal insights. The only thing I ever discussed with you was two things. The first one being that I thought you had totally misrepresented, purposefully and with malice, the opinion that TJ, the Amazing Atheist, holds as expressed in his videos. And I want to take this opportunity to express my sympathy that you have such trouble reading and comprehending people's names. I've noticed it before, but let me tell you once again, it's pronounced S-Sanf. Or you can call me SS if that's too hard, or you can simply call me Sanf.
Assholes keep bringing up issues of private property and their right to exercise their rights, their private property ownership rights. So anyway, this scarf bitch got in the fucking room last night, and I should have just kicked her right as soon as she got in the room. I got nothing to say to her. There's no human being there. I got no conversation to have with her. So anyway, I'll let her stay in the room.
Oh, tell the truth, Gary. You know you like talking to me. Who you kidding? And the fact is, what I think actually matters to you, everybody can see that. It really gets your goat that I actually do like the Amazing Atheist and have some sort of admiration for him and think he's cute. That's the problem. You're jealous as a cat, Gary, not just because of that I like the Amazing Atheist, but because he has such a subscriber base of so many other people that do too. You hate him for that.
And this guy Remy, who was sort of an interesting conversationalist, he's eloquent, speaks good English, can make a disciplined argument. Yeah, well, he did anyway. He just decided that, yes, we're going to have conversation because we're going to demonstrate somehow that these people don't have bigotry in mind, that they're bringing up this white-only stuff just because they have some perfect love for a principle of freedom.
Yes, indeed, Remy is well-spoken, and we all admire that about him. He's quite logical, too. However, he did not say what you are implying that he said. The reason is he never got a chance to say what he wanted to say because you kept interrupting. We will never know what his point of view was. It is my personal opinion that you should stop saying what you believe people are going to say and let them say it for themselves.
And I made the simple argument that that's a crock of shit, because all these private property ownership bastards will all admit that people have a responsibility to the other people existing, and that they can't fucking decide to pull a bunch of toxic minerals out of the ground and throw them anywhere they want into the air where other people have to breathe it and all that other stuff. So they are for regulating some regulation over private property rights.
Actually, the truth is, no one got to say whether they were for or against that. But you never, ever let anybody else say what they were for or against, nor did you ask their opinion. Gary, you are overly fond of stating and summarizing other people's opinions without ever bothering to ask or find out what their opinions are.
It's like there's no absolute freedom of speech. Okay, we have a constitutional right, but that right is limited by our right not to fucking slander people and not to put people in jeopardy with a lie.
Well, here we agree. You do not have the freedom to misrepresent, slander people, and put them into jeopardy with a lie. That's what you were doing about the Amazing Atheist, and that's what I called you on. And that's what you're mad about.
You have a responsibility to fucking humanity, alright? Not to be a bigoted, racist fucking asshole.
I would also like to think you have a responsibility not to call people bigoted, fucking racist assholes when you are only taking a portion of what they have said and not looking at the overall whole content of what they have said, which is not racist at all.
I made the clear point that these people will concede to these points, okay? These fucking anarcho-capitalist assholes will fucking concede that you can't fuck up other people.
Well, we certainly don't know if they make that concession or not, since you were only saying that they would make the concession, and actually nobody conceded anything. You're very fond of telling people what they think and what their opinions are without ever bothering to find out.
So this stupid scarf bitch, she was actually, just to avoid having to accept the hypocrisy of her argument, she was even defending people being polluters.
Actually, that is a total misrepresentation of what happened. I was not defending people being polluters at all. What happened was I asked you to define the limits on personal property rights.
Because she actually, when I provided that example, she said, well, don't you believe in property rights?
I asked you, if people cannot do what they want with their own property, can a person truly ever be said to own anything? And from my point of view, that's a pretty far stretch to say that I was defending the rights of polluters.
Because she was so tied to that fucking principle of liberty.
Well, yes, I admit it. I'm pretty tied to that fucking principle of liberty.
Because it's obvious it has a racial intent.
I find that rather amusing. I think our forefathers and all the boys that fought in World War II and the other wars would be very surprised to know that fighting for liberty had a racial intent.
And so anyway, this Remy guy, I guess, kept defending this bitch, and so I finally I said, enough. I'm not going to spend my I'm not going to waste my time arguing with bigots.
First of all, if you are in any way implying that Ramy is a bigot, you seriously owe him an apology. I hope that remark was only intended toward me and the amazing atheist. Second of all, Ramy was defending me against your onslaught because you were clearly in the wrong, and everyone in the room saw it and everyone knew it.
So I was in the process of booting her out of the room, and he says, well, if you boot her, I'm leaving. And so, yeah, I'm saying, well, fuck you then, okay? Fuck you, Remy. Don't come fucking back, because I'll kick you every fucking time you come in the room, too. Because you're not fucking worth it if you're going to defend that kind of bullshit.
You know, this is a darn shame, because Remy is one of the people that you could have actually counted as a friend. Even though you don't agree, he did like you, and he did respect you. You know, you're cutting your friends out very fast. When even your friends are telling you that you're wrong, Gary, maybe you better ought to just consider that you're wrong. I think you ought to stop and think, because you really don't have that many friends to spare, Gary.
Should I have a conversation with somebody who advocates white only, who grew up, who's old enough to know, who's old enough to have seen it, okay? She's an old bag, an old fucking skanky cunt, all right? She was alive back then in the 50s and 60s. She knows what the fucking world looked like.
Actually, I've never advocated anything in your room other than that you not misrepresent the content of someone else's video. And it's true, I am old, and I do know what the fucking world looked like back in the 1950s. I know what it looks like now. And for that reason, I clearly stated that I no longer feel that I have the answers or the solutions to the problem. Having no solutions to offer myself, because the problem is way beyond me at this point, I've seen things haven't worked out the way we thought they would. Well, that's why I haven't advocated anything.
Maybe I'll get past this eventually.
Well, I don't know if you'll get past it or not, but I have a suggestion. And one is that you listen more and talk less. That you stop assuming what other people think or what they intend, and find out what they think and what they intend by simply asking them. I also suggest that if you're going to talk about somebody else's video, that you talk about the entire content of the video and all the things that they said, not just a knee-jerk reaction to a small portion of it that you think may not agree with your own point of view. You've got to get that temper under control too, Gary. When you drive away good people who want to be your friend like Ramy did, you do yourself no favor and you lose what small credibility you ever did have.
You gotta make a distinction between changing someone's behavior from the outside in or changing someone's behavior from the inside out. You know, you can't change. You know, if you teach people to behave a certain way, all they're going to learn is how to behave that way to be socially acceptable. You have to get inside and change them from the inside out. You have to get into their hearts and into their minds and really change what they believe. It's a lot harder, and it's a lot more real. It's a lot more lasting. You know, you can't get rid of racism by teaching every racist in America how to hide their racism. You have to get rid of racism by making every racist in America no longer racist. Amazing Atheist. Peace. Fuck.